Introducing the NFL Legacy Collection. Inspired by the AFL 50th anniversary, authentic game jerseys, t-shirts, jackets, and other gear. Available at select retailers and NFLshop.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
I'm very sorry, but we must interrupt this Raider highlight to bring you some breaking news that is very, very important.
12 seconds to go in the game. Niners lead by 4. Carr back to pass. Comes to the left. 8 seconds left. He gets away from the pressure. Fires to the end zone. It's Greg Lewis. Oh my heavens. Greg Lewis. Look at Minnesota. Oh my heavens.
Guys, I think we might be talking about that play once the season ends and then as the years continue to go by. But here is Greg Lewis's depiction of what happened on that game-winning touchdown pass between Brett Favre and himself for the Vikings.
The play is executed with 4 vertical routes, 2 on the right and 2 on the left, and it's predicated on spacing and getting to your landmarks. The outside guys need to be 4 yards from the sidelines, and the inside guys need to be up to numbers, and they have the ability to bend in if the coverage predicates it. And Brett rolled out, and I bent to his side towards him, and he laid the ball out there, and I made a good catch.
Before we get into the specifics of the play, what does this do for Brett Favre's legacy, which is already through the roof?
You know, I don't know if he needs any more added to his legacy, but it does justify why the Vikings brought him in. Everybody says, you know, if he doesn't want to be here, does he want to be here? Is he coming to training camp? Does he want to be a part of this team? Is he stringing us along? You know what? This is why you wait for a guy like Brett Favre, because of the things he can do at the end of ball games to pull out victories.
Yeah, all schisms are solidified. They don't have to worry about that anymore. That's taken care of. I mean, they know they've got the guy, and they're ready to follow him anywhere.
And you can see the way guys are picking him up off the turf. He's one of them now. No doubt about that. All right, let's see this play that Greg Lewis was talking about. We're going to bring in Travis and Sam to help us out here and just explain, Trent, the 4-wide formation that we saw there.
Well, like Greg Lewis was telling us, it was a 4 vertical scheme, and the defense that the 49ers were in was a quarters defense, where each defensive back has a quarter of the field. So when Brett gets flushed to the right-hand side, he gets flushed out of the pocket. Mark Roman, who's the safety on that side of the field and responsible for that quarter, when he gets flushed over to the side, the receiver that he's responsible for comes to a stop. So everybody's like, why did Mark Roman let him get behind him? That wasn't Mark Roman's responsibility. Yes, he's supposed to have that entire quarter of the field, but when Brett rolled his way and he saw the 2 receivers there, that's what caused him to freeze a little bit. At that time, that's when Greg Lewis snuck in behind him. Mark had a chance to see him at the last second. Brett threw a nice firm ball. He didn't throw it up high, didn't have a rainbow. There was 12 seconds on the clock when that play started. So Brett was smart enough to throw a firm ball. So if it wasn't incomplete, then you have 2 seconds, 1 second left to throw that rainbow, that Hail Mary in the end zone. And he was able to sneak behind. Yes, you got your feet in. Yeah. You got your dance shoes on, huh? You're going to pay that back line. So.
Travis and Sam, thank you very much. And a lot of people, when they look at that, they'll say, he just threw it up there. It was luck. It was a bit of a mini Hail Mary. But that's not the case.
No, he threw a firm ball. He didn't throw a rainbow like you would at the end of a half, end of a game. He threw a firm ball, and what he did is he put the ball in the spot that made the receiver go get it. He made Greg Lewis go get it. Greg wasn't going to a spot. He was going to where that ball was, and Greg did a good job of putting the ball in the only location he could, because if that ball hits the ground, they still got one more play.
So Trent, that's what we're hearing so much about now when we talk about it as commentators and you hear on TV and radio. He threw him open, all right? He uncovered the receiver from coverage in a sense, because he made him go get it in the spot, right? Because otherwise he could have thrown it to him, then it would have been a contested ball between him and the defensive back.
Oh, it would have, and there was 2 guys there. The defensive backs did a good job, and yes, you can say that Mark Roman let a receiver behind him, but like I mentioned, he had 2 receivers in front of him that he was responsible for. Them. Because if he goes to that back line and it goes to one of those underneath guys, he's going to cross the goal line before he can even rally to it. So that's just an unbelievable pass and an even better catch.
A lot of that, too, is just veteran savviness, because we saw Jason Campbell and the Redskins in a somewhat of a similar situation, and rather than go ahead and fire the ball in the end zone, Campbell elects to dump it off short for the hook and ladder. You have an inexperienced quarterback versus a guy who's done just about everything in the game. So there you go, and it turns out to be the difference for a victory.